3096 Days. A movie created by Sherry Holman dramatizes the true story of none other than Natasha Kampusch. For some strange reason, I feel like it's not really nice to talk about these cases. Like, from one standpoint, I feel terrible talking about these, much like with Sylvia Likens or Junko Furuta. I just feel bad talking about this because I can't really even explain. You tell me, do you have the same feeling discussing these cases? Because they're real life crimes and there's nothing to be dramatized there. It is dramatic enough as it is. But the other part of me says, hey, if it was written, if it was filmed, then it needs to be talked about. Welcome to Check That Book, a special place on the internet where you and I get acquainted with arguably the most disturbing content ever created. And by disturbing, I mean various levels of disturbing, as well as various media, but mainly we focus on literature here. There was a book of the same name written by Kampusch herself about her captivity and basically a story of survival. We've spoken about this wee book. The link will be in the description below. However, the film can quite possibly traumatize you even more. This is one of those cases. A very well done piece of cinema that, besides being disturbing, is just well done and thought-provoking in the sense of it being, on one hand, it is a correctly done piece of cinema about a case of a kidnapping. But on the other hand, does it do the story, the true story, justice, and does it not offend, in this case, Natasha Kampusch? I hope not. After all, this film was made in accordance to the book that she has herself written, and our job is to take a look at it. Definitely on the same shelf with, let's say, Daniel Groh's 7 Days, or even that ugly but brilliant Romanian abortion movie that we've spoken about on this channel. But if Patruluni is about abortion and female body and the system and how it does us wrong, then this one kind of also addresses the issues in the system, because how the heck could you miss a wee girl going to school in the morning? How the hell could you not find her for such a long time? You did not do a proper search. The police, unfortunately, often doesn't perform a proper search. Again, think Junko Furuta case, right, where she could have been saved, perhaps more than once even. I mean, the police literally were at the doorstep in this case too. They even, but we're not here to discuss the real case. I am not really the right person for that. Just a side note, if you're interested in the original case of Natasha Kampusch, then read her book. And yes, you can do your own research online. But the film, yes, it immerses you into the story and obviously has some freeways here and there, and it dramatizes it, obviously, as every piece of cinematic work can do. When it comes to real life cases, we witnessed this in the American Crime or even The Girl Next Door. But if you want to get an overall idea, sure. You can also watch The Girl in the Basement. I mean, I have quite a list. But we are here today for the movie of 2013, 3096 Days. Now, this is a true story about a 10-year-old girl abducted in Vienna in 1998, and she's kept in a small hidden cellar by her captor for over 8 years before finally escaping. Now, the film follows her kidnapping, the slow, claustrophobic daily life in captivity, the psychological power struggle between the prisoner and the captor, as well as her eventual opportunity to flee. The movie is a relatively straightforward, often harrowing two-hander that focuses on survival and the dynamic between the two main characters. Again, much like with every case of a memoir adapted on a big screen, this one does not have as much insight as you would have expected. Natasha spends much time inside her own thoughts in the book, detailing routines and her private tragedies, even on how to escape, right? Her day-to-day coping mechanisms and how did she ultimately survive, whilst the film it externalizes everything, of course, it usually does, but it shows events and interactions rather than reproducing the book's monologue, if that makes sense. I think you know what I mean. If you followed me in this fun little rubric I call Book versus Movie, disturbing book and it's disturbing movie, and we compare them, so you know that externalization is quite a big deal when it comes to these. It happens with pretty much every genre and every film when it's adapted. If you take a book, you cannot take everything literally from there. I mean, you can, but perhaps then you will end up with something along the lines of David Lynch, even. I don't know. It's not that he's a bad film director. It's just it can end up being absurd. Again, the art of cinema and the art of literary storytelling, they're quite different. So I think it is obvious. Some things will be lacking when it comes to a film adaptation. The book includes many small factual details such as dates, chores, even her radio listening routines, her moods across the years even, and, well, psychological nuance about how Kampusch adapted and survived. The film condenses years into scenes and focuses on key episodes and the relationship with her captor. Some episodes and background material from the memoir are often omitted or simplified for the sake of pacing. And that is completely normal. It resonates with what I just said before. And the memoir, of course, it's intimate. It is a very personal story, obviously, and if you take it upon yourself to make a movie based on something like this, then, well, you have to have guts. Sure, at points the movie comes across as this dramatic survival thriller, but again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is one of the strengths of the film, actually. Whilst the book created this public debate because of its representation of Kampusch's perspective, including complex feelings toward her captor and, well, the aftermath, a film adaptation cannot easily convey the same breadth of nuance, and thus can appear to take a clearer moral or visual stance. Now, if you want immersion in what it felt like to live through those 3,096 days, the routines, the psychological survival, and personal reflections, make sure to read Kampusch's memoir first. However, if you want a concentrated, dramatized sense of the case and the intense dynamic between captive and captor, the film delivers that in cinematic form, but with inevitable compression and less interior detail. I still have mixed feelings about the film. I do like it, but I never ever thought about rewatching this one. And, well, perhaps that's a good thing, because you wouldn't want to rewatch films such as these. I think if you're intelligent enough, then one viewing, one sitting is quite enough, to be honest. I thank you all so much for watching. If you like this sort of unorthodox content, please consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more, to see more curious content, disturbing movies, books, and games, and fairy tales, and well, to see me and Elvis deliver. Yeah, I hope we're doing an okay job. I'll see you all as soon as possible. Take good care of yourselves and your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.